know. I don't know a lot.
That's crazy. What do you listen to? What kind of music?
Blink-182.
All right, you guys
182 as well.
can go live whenever you're ready. We are recording.
What did you say?
We recording? Yep, whenever you're
It's
ready.
not Blink 182. I think it's Blink 182.
In England, it's Blink-182, and in America, it's Blink-182.
Oh, it's the same way like it's boot and they say trunk.
Yeah.
There we go.
You must be a day one fan if you know that kind of information.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't name you. If you gone to my head, name a Blink 182 song.
Really?
I have that with Frank Ocean.
You had that, Frank Ocean?
He could be in here now.
I could be Frank Ocean. You wouldn't know.
I would have sussed out that you weren't Frank Ocean.
Really a cultural endeavour start to this podcast. Coming together. Welcome to B-Tech Philosophers, everyone. You're the hardest talking of, well, on record there. We're welcoming today's guest, the fantastic
Legend.
Seann Walsh.
I'm already a legend.
Comedy legend, Seann Walsh.
That was a much better intro. Fantastic. Legend was better than fantastic.
I don't think you're quite a legend. I think
I
you're on your way. I think you're on your way. I don't know what for.
I do.
The great thing with Seann, it could be for his comedy, could be a national scandal. We don't know what it's gonna be.
Seann is like, what's it? That film, A Star Is Born. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, to trials, tribulation. You haven't seen that, have you?
Yeah. Are you saying I'm going to hang myself?
Wait, is that what happens in that?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Mike?
I didn't reveal it.
You forgot that. Oh, sorry. Because I spoiled it.
No, I don't. I wasn't going to watch it.
I'm not saying you're going to hang yourself. I'm just saying, like, the story is just like, it could be a movie.
There's a good... thank you.
You did, but you don't have, like, a protege.
There is a movie in all of us.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to start today with an actual bit of philosophy, which we've strayed away from on this podcast a lot. But I know you're a big fan of philosophy.
Well, I find it interesting and try to be, but can't remember anything.
Right, that's very much what this podcast is. And so I wanted to, for you, I think this is my listeners will know this is one of my favorite stories, favorite bit of philosophy, but I don't think there's anyone that it applies more to than yourself.
Oh no!
And that is the story of the Chinese farmer.
I know that. I know this.
I don't know this.
So once upon a time, there was a
farmer.
Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all of his neighbors came round to commiserate. They said, "We are so sorry to hear your horse has run away. This is unfortunate." The farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. You now have 8 horses." The farmer again said, "Maybe." The following day, his son tried to break one of the horses, and while riding it, he was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbors then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." And the farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers came around to conscript people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had broken his leg. And his neighbors came around again and said, "Isn't that great?" Again, he said, "Maybe." The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it's really impossible to tell whether anything happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequences of misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequences of good fortune.
They also forgot to mention that the dad had a rare illness in which the only word he could say was maybe.
He fell off the horse and broke his head, and that's the only word he could.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like, you know, it is a bit of a dick. People are like, "Oh, sorry for your loss." Yeah, it's kind of, you know, just like.
Where did that come from?
What are you
Are
talking
you
about?
still stuck
You
on A
misheard
Star Is
the-
Born?
No. I'm just saying, like, the people are coming like, "Oh, really sorry this happened to you," and he's like, yeah. Just be like, "Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming, taking time out your day."
What are you talking about?
In the story, people are coming to this farmer
Yeah.
to, like, taking time out of their day on their farm.
Yeah.
Could be doing crops and rice and that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, sorry that this happened to you."
Yeah.
And he's not really giving them the emotional, correct response.
So he's being philosophical.
Right.
He's being open-minded about the consequences and whether or not this, in the long term, will be a good thing or a bad thing.
Sorry, I was just moving the mic towards Seann.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a summary of life, isn't it? That's
Maybe.
very good.
Yeah.
You've really taken to this like a duck to water, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like that applies to you?
Absolutely. I think it applies to all of us. Isn't it?
Yeah, well, you can imagine a thing, and we try not to make everything too comedy literal on this podcast, but you might get something that is like, you could get a TV thing or something, but you could fuck it up in a same way of, like, you go on and have a bad set, but the time before you got that, you So I remember one Edinburgh, just to give an example. I went up there and completely fucked it up. I was looking forward to doing.
And then you fucked up an entire Edinburgh.
an entire Edinburgh. It was,
you fucked up a month.
Yeah,
That's quite a long time.
That's a streak.
Do you know what? It wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't even just like. It was just like the. But I'm glad it happened because what it taught me was it stopped me being arrogant and in comedy because I got signed quite young due to who my father is. It sort of taught me a lot about myself there. And then when actually, if you go and work hard, and I went and did work hard, and more things happened. So it was a good thing that happened. But at the time when it was happening, it was a disaster.
Sometimes you need to touch the hot pan to know that it's hot, because we all know to not fuck up an entire month.
Stop trying to rewrite the Chinese farmer story.
I feel like without retrospection, we should all know that I've spent a lot of money on this show and I shouldn't fuck up for a whole month. But you had to do it to know to not do it.
Well, I was 20.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, I was 20.
Oh
I
no!
shouldn't have been doing a show.
No one should be doing a show at 20.
What have you got to say? What did you talk
Who
about?
wants to watch that?
Oh, it wasn't a good show.
What did you talk
Of
about?
course, it wasn't a good show. You were 20.
What was it called?
Near life experience. I felt so. As soon as I was trying it in my head, I was like, just make up a name, Elliot. But the name itself is awful.
Near life experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of being aware that you haven't got shit to talk about in the title.
Yeah, and it was my first ever. I tried to write an Edinburgh show.
So you didn't even do just a best of?
No.
Best of what? You're
Yeah.
20.
I know. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it was my second show. My first one had gone all right. But I was 19 when I did that show, and it was.
This is your second hour.
Yeah.
The fuck? I'm struggling. I'm 27. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to talk about?
How many shows have you done?
Not one. Been milking that for a bit.
Good. I think you've done the right thing.
Well, we don't know yet.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, oh God. I mean, this is the problem with that story is that it does apply to you. You can put it on top of everything.
Do you know what I respect about you, Elliot? You never made a pun out of any of your show titles.
That's not true. That's not true.
Oh my God.
It's awful. Do you not know this?
Wait,
Were you joking?
I didn't know this.
This is one of the words. This is one of the words.
You could go fuck yourself.
Why? What is it? What?
Yin and yang.
I was going to keep that to myself.
Wait, what was
It's not even correct.
Yes, I know.
What was it called?
Oh no. Yin and yang.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know.
But you do know it's yin.
Yeah, I know, and they spelt it wrong. No one noticed that.
So both were wrong?
The phrase is obviously yin
Yin.
and yang.
Yin and yang.
But my show is called Ying G with a G. Ying and Young. So
Yin and yang.
so we got the first word that wasn't meant to be a pun wrong, and then did a really bad pun next. That shows the worst show I've ever done.
I
That was a
think
terrible
it
show.
counts as culturally offensive now. Even maybe.
And you're right. And now it's racist. That's good. Racist to add to my.
I'll tell mine, and then we can. I think I know where we both went wrong.
Oh God.
What was yours?
My first one, right, in my accent
It's
makes
so
sense.
mental.
Called Netflix and Steel. Like Netflix and
That's-
Steel rhymes with
That's
Steel.
not
Where
a
are you
pun.
going?
It doesn't rhyme. It's not a pun. Chill has one syllable. Steel has two.
Right.
It
The
doesn't
problem
even.
is that in my accent it makes sense, and also because my agent is from Peckham, when he said it, he's like, "Yeah, Steel, great." Who is
Oh my
also
God,
your
that
agent,
is
where
very
I imagine
mental.
Ying made sense.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have known how to spell it. Oh
Your
my
first show was
God.
called Netflix and Still.
Bro,
It's awful.
Bro, I had to spend the first 5 minutes of my show explaining what I've just explained to you. I had to do my first 5 minutes was admin,
Oh my God.
was sorting out an admin error.
What
Now-
year was that? That would have been like the year where that phrase just came out.
Oh, I thought I was so culturally relevant.
Wait. Now, in all seriousness, did anything good come from that mistake?
The first 5 minutes of the show was funny about it.
There we go. There's the maybe.
Right.
But as well, right, that's that bit of when you first come into an industry like that, or any industry, and you're very green, and you don't quite know how to approach something like that. You try. I'll find for myself. I don't know about you guys, but you try follow what is the way people have already set. So you see that people do a pun in their title. It's like, I'm not a comedian who does puns.
No.
So, and it doesn't suit me.
Right.
So now when I go up, I'm not gonna, you know, like I got hit in the balls and required surgery, and people are like, oh, you could call your next show Ball of Steel, and I'll be like, no, I won't, because I'm not dog shit. Like,
Oh yes.
instead of making that my, if I hadn't done that, I would do that, and the flyer would be me holding my nuts, and everyone would be,
you could be naked.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do like a whole narrative about your balls,
I'm not going to.
no,
Just a 20-minute bit. You've seen the bit.
Someone told me about the bit, said it was brilliant.
it's really good.
Yeah.
I've not seen really in a long time a 20-minute bit on one story before.
That's I've not seen that.
So and he did it really well, and it's only gonna get better. So
Yeah,
I do 4-minute bits.
yeah, it's good. Even that for me is like a long time.
You're very good at it, and the thing that I loved about your special kiss, which is out on YouTube, that people
For free.
that people should watch.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I saw it live, and then I watched it with another comedian, Kai Humphreys.
Oh, yeah.
And you know when you do that thing where you watch something with another comic, and you go and you put something on, and you go, oh, is this going to be slightly, they're going to be like, what? And then we just, from the off, just loved it as much as when I was there.
That's very nice, but I'm really surprised that you watched a special with someone.
Well, we were just watching, we were just hanging out in Glasgow, and I was like, we were talking about comedy specials, and I was like, and with his wife, Natalie, and we were like, oh, we should watch Seann Walsh's special. And we even did the thing where you said, pause this, go and watch the dance.
Oh, that's amazing.
it and
A
went and
lot of people did that. I'm so chuffed with that.
Yeah.
So I'm
feel like-
describing I was on, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it. I was on a show called Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh right,
Were you aware
yeah.
of this?
Okay.
And on the night that changed my life forever, I did the Paso Doble on Strictly Come Dancing.
What kind of dance is that? Explain it.
It's
Paso
the
Doble.
Spanish one. It involves a lot of stretching. It's the dance that the people do with the red flag to try to touch the ball.
yeah,
There's a lot of stretching. Got a 7 off Bruno.
That's nice.
You did it well.
Did it very well. I was undermarked, but obviously I can't. You're describing about it, and you have to think. Well, look, most people aren't going to remember this, and also there might be people watching that don't know any of this. So what I could do is, because it's YouTube, you're on. That's the amazing thing about doing these things on the internet, is you can just get the audience to go and look at. Any comic could do that. When you think about it, you could go pause this and Google. Like such a cool little mechanism to be able to use.
That's the thing about specials. You are performing to the audience at home as much as in the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did notice that
More.
because
More.
I saw that show in Edinburgh, and then I saw it at Angel, and I actually like going to go watch things recorded sometimes, because I think it's really interesting when you can watch someone be caught up killing in the room and go, oh no, and this is a thing that I probably don't know actually, but you're not meant to be having these people are there to have a good gig to, but you're not playing to them.
Yeah.
Like when you see people, or you hear about people's Apollo sets where they're caught up and they're killing there, and it's like, deliver down the camera, deliver to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. But I think one of the things that here's something that I thought when you're brought up in the clubs. Obviously, the kind of first thing I remember is sandwich your set with the gold. So what is it? Open with your second best bit, close with your best bit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you guys never hear that.
That sounds familiar to some.
That was the DNA of most club routines, and then you kind of build in the middle until you've got your quote unquote killer 20, whatever. But if you use that method for TV, I noticed this. I got stung by this myself. Is that I would go and perform the same set that I would do in a club on Live at the Apollo, but of course, if you do your second best bit, and you open with your second best bit, and then fill, and obviously you shouldn't be filling by the time you're doing Live at the Apollo, but you know what I mean, and then you close with your best bit. You've got that the wrong way round on telly. Because on telly, it's get them, and then, even if you want fade out, if you have to. I wish I could, I don't really care, but if I was going to give advice, if I was a manager or something for a comic, I would say, just top end the whole thing.
Yeah.
You think you need a big closer? You don't. just even just quietly walk off. It doesn't matter. Just top load it.
Well, just for my own nerves, I'd want to start really strong. Just to be like, all right, cool, I'm in here. I'm in the room. It's like being a boxer. I got my first punch out of the way.
Absolutely. But I don't. Yes, of course you want to start strong, and anyone would be trying to start strong. But what I mean is, when I first did Live at the Apollo, I think the routine that worked the best anywhere when I was doing it live was this routine about Mortal Kombat, about when I was a kid playing Mortal Kombat. And I put that at the end. Now, when they put out the half-an-hour episode, they cut that off. They cut off the best routine. Yeah. And you look back and you can't believe it. And obviously, if I had known that they were going to do that, I would have just come out and done that at the top.
You did Live at the Apollo, or Live at the Apollo was still a game changer. Do you know what I mean? When it was still like...
I think I was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
I think I was the beginning of the end.
What year did you first do Live at the Apollo?
I don't know, but I was 25 or 4. 25. I was 25.
I mean, it's still Live at the Apollo around. People don't know really. It's still a big deal now, but back in the day,
it's green room bragging rights.
Yeah.
It's the comics that I know who get
and a nice check,
and the comics I know who get upset. I know comics who, when the Live at the Apollos come out, and we all. Look at the line, and you're like, well, have you got you're going to do Live at the Apollo. Have you got a podcast or anything to promote afterwards or that?
Have you got
you're still going to go and do spiky mic gigs.
Right.
Like, what is your next? This is a thing that I know, and not just to make it in comedy. Is I think people put this will be the making of me and think this will happen, and there's this thing that we all do where we idealize something and go, we want that. That's what we want. That will bring me happiness. And I've seen it happen to people, and they get there, and then they don't know what to do because they haven't thought of where do I go after.
Yes.
Where do I go? And now what? Well, now hopefully in another 2 years I get back on Live at the Apollo, and you just do that until the end of time.
Well,
I'll take that.
To bring it to philosophy, I think that putting your happiness in the
future
is dangerous,
as opposed to like I'm only present now. But alive now, have my happiness now.
But do you need that for a certain level of drive?
Is that a happiness or ambition?
I think if you sometimes you can confuse the two, but sometimes you might go, I want to get to here because that would show me a sense of worth, and not just in philosophy. I'm doing what I like jiu-jitsu. I would really like to get to a point where I've got a blue belt, which would feel cool. But
is that the highest belt?
No, highest is black. But what would be a really cool belt for me is purple, because purple is like a serious belt. That means you've really applied yourself to get there and you really know stuff.
What are you?
I'm a white belt. I'm the first belt.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'm a white belt.
You're a white belt.
I'm a white belt.
You're a white belt.
But you do the fight. Surely you're not.
No, I'm a white belt, man. It takes forever.
I've not done any. I'm a white belt.
It takes forever.
I'm a leather belt.
But it's the same as in comedy. You can be on the open mic circuit for 3 years. You know, there's people who do that.
Yes.
There's no... With something like jiu-jitsu, it's cooler, because we talked about this before, like, there is at least a promotion. In comedy, there is never a promotion. You are suddenly one day you go, oh, I'm here.
I remember McCaffrey told me that that he had heard Tom Stade saying, this is many, many years ago when we were on the, just on the starting out on the circuit, that he had heard Tom Stade, I think at Birmingham Glee, just walk in and go, when do you win showbiz? I loved that. That always stayed with me. Like, it just doesn't, you can't complete this.
Some people have won. Like George Clooney is secure. Then has to make it up.
But he'll still have a thing that he's not got.
I don't.
I tell you what, there'll be.
Do you think that?
I tell you what, right? I was the other day talking to my dad.
Has he won an Oscar?
No, he hasn't.
No,
okay, it might be the Oscar.
But it won't even be.
He deserves an Oscar just for his beautiful face.
Yeah, it's insane.
So charming.
But there's a thing that I reckon that there'll be an audition he went for. I didn't get that fucking role in high school, and that cunt got it over me. I couldn't believe that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was still irking. Like, with my dad, we'd talk about a thing the other day, and my dad, just out of nowhere, has a good career. He's very respected community, still sells tour tickets, doesn't make...
He is a legend.
He is a legend, right? And he went, fucking, they never nominated me for that Edinburgh Award. I was like, that was 30 years ago, and you're still holding on to that.
They nominated me twice.
I know.
Congratulations, two-time nominee in the room.
That's weird, isn't it? Because he's got everything that you would potentially get out of that?
What, my dad?
Yeah.
Yes, but then he's also got that thing where it's never enough.
Well, that's like, there's no official happy ever after in terms of, people are like, once I get married and have kids, it'll be happy ever after. No, now you got to raise the kids, you got to pay off the mortgage. The story ends when you die. There's not going to be a point where you're like, there's nothing I ever need anymore. That doesn't exist. That's not how human brains work.
It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're all striving towards self-actualization.
Oh my gosh, you've done research.
What do you mean striving to what is self-actualization?
I interpret self-actualization. So do you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it's like at the bottom of the pyramid is just
remind me, because
Right.
I do, and I will have honestly I will have read this, and what happens? It just goes in the ear, and then nothing stays.
It's at the bottom of it is sort of you need shelter, fire.
Yes.
Then as you go up, things get
a
bit more complicated, and it starts becoming things that you don't actually need, or so you start going, well, I want this, maybe I want family, maybe I want success, maybe I want these things. You get to the top, and there's what we're striving towards is self-actualization.
Xbox.
Yes. Well, that is quite near the top.
Yeah.
But then that to me is like, you know who you are, you've worked on yourself, and you're content with who you are as a human being. So even for me, even for your mistakes in the past, you're fine with them. You're like, no, that's cool. That got me to here where I am today. Sort of like we were talking about with the Chinese farmer.
I think the highest point is of self-actualization is being able to forgive yourself.
Yes.
And but not to the point of sociopath.
No. Not like a Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right.
Who's Jeffrey Dahmer?
Serial killer.
No.
Not really. Don't really know a lot of pop culture.
Is he the current Netflix thing?
Yeah, it's very good.
Yes, right. Well, see, there you go.
Very good.
I think the ability to forgive yourself, maybe even before someone has forgiven you.
How old are you?
27.
And do you have to forgive yourself?
I don't really do nothing. I don't leave the house much, so it makes it easier.
You forgive yourself before I forgive you on this podcast a lot. When I get a text 15 minutes beforehand, saying, "Have you done any prep for today?"
Hang on a second. Have you meant to have done prep?
No, we've got things. We keep it loose structured, but we know where we're going.
At the start,
You two know right now. You know where we're going.
100%
I have no idea where
But we
we're
like
going.
that.
we didn't tell you anything.
Okay.
We like leaving people in the dark. But we like vibing with people.
I think forgiveness. You're saying to forgive yourself. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, because guilt, I think, is the ultimate anchor. Once you let go of that guilt and you turn it into something productive, I think we go further as humans.
But you did that in a way. I don't know if it was good. I don't know what it was. But you took something that you went through that was awful and then wrote a great show about
nominated show.
Two great shows about it.
Yes, you've not stopped talking about it, Sean. No, yeah, I wrote. No, but that's a two-parter.
Great.
And but I think it's in terms of forgive yourself. I mean, it wasn't about. Neither were about forgiving myself.
Would you say you have?
It's very complicated because if it was it's very complicated. Me and my ex aren't friends, and I think I can say that publicly. So it makes it it makes it complicated. It's not just a statement was released about me 2 days later, so suddenly that person has gone from being someone you hurt to suddenly being your kind of arch nemesis. Yeah, so then the whole thing becomes completely and utterly complex. So
do you need to forgive yourself before someone else has forgiven you? Because is that bad, or is that like I need to let this go so I can move on with my life?
Well, exactly, yeah. And and once if you've unfortunately, I think with life, once you've that's one of the problems with life, I think, is you kind of can't, certainly in that situation what we're talking about, me and Strictly and the kiss, is that you can't make up for it. And you wish you could. You wish you could, at the time, you wish you could make up for that, but you can't. And all you've got is this word, which is sorry, which you can mean sincerely. And I did. But, at the end of the day, that person, once that person is still talking about you publicly, you can't. It really complicates things. So
how do I keep hanging on to this?
I know. So it's very complex, exactly. And all I've got is I was sincerely sorry. That and that's it. And if you could do more, if all of us in any situation in life could do more about the hurt that we've caused at the time, whatever that is, whether you've cheated or whatever you've done, then we all would, wouldn't we? But you can't. It's so annoying. It's like, okay, I've done, I've wronged you, and I've just got 2 syllables. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I wish there was more.
And the thing is,
that's it. You know,
like
you could just mean it. You got to mean it.
There's something like that. Like one another thing you can do is obviously change behavior. It's like one way is like but it sucks with cheating. Like because I'm a change, just not with you. I'm gonna just be better with somebody else.
I'm not spoken about this.
You know what I mean?
I've not spoken about this on here before.
I'm gonna be a better man, just not with you. I'm gonna be the man you wanted me to be with another person.
Yeah, I'm gonna take what I've learned from you.
That unfortunately, that's a good point. But that's exactly it. Yeah.
That's
someone's gonna really appreciate that I've done this to you one day.
Oh my God.
For the man that I am going to become.
Indeed.
You are a learning curve for me.
And let's be honest, you threw a plate, so we're not all innocent.
Listen, in comedy terms, you were my work in progress.
Fucking hell. Jesus.
And this next person is my award-nominated show. You know what I mean? That's how them's the break.
I had a thing, and I was very immature before me and my missus broke up and got back together because I have worked on myself and stuff. But
you got back together?
Yes,
in a relationship?
because with my girlfriend, I love very much, and
Did you say that quicker?
Well, I feel.
I'm with my girlfriend. We'll live there very much.
I feel emotionally.
I'm with my girlfriend. We'll live there very much.
Elliot, sometimes you do that. You speed through a sentence.
So I will, because when I have to say anything
Elliot.
emotionally,
Say it, Elliot, and look at me in the eye.
I can't, because the repressed kid in my head is there going like, you meant to deadlift and go to the gym and lift weights. You're not meant to feel emotions.
Say a clear sentence.
Well, could I just say, I think we've come a long way, 2022, we've come a long way, and saying that you love your girlfriend very much on a podcast, I still think that's a bit gay.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? It is.
I agree.
It is. Like in my head, I don't know what I'm about to say about a woman in my life that I love her, and in my head, there's just something in my head going, gay. And I don't know what that is.
I'll judge you a little bit.
By the way,
but I want it.
When I was 20, I went out drinking. I kissed a dude once. No voice in my head said gay then. But the minute I talk about
I was there, I would have been the voice.
That's gay.
Yeah,
that is gay.
Facts.
But then with my girlfriend, she we were both kind of in a bad place and stuff, and she behaved a bad way, I behaved a bad way, and she's like,
Can you say that quicker as well?
she behaved a bad way, I behaved a bad way. Fuck the story. You not have fun with my inability to open up. But I'd been in a similar position to what you'd been in, not with like the public eye or anything, but like that, but still with her friends knowing.
Yes.
Oh
God,
and things like that. And and let me just say, she was no angel either. But I was. But it was. It was, it was too.
Press conference, are we?
I don't know. Why are you? No, we've not grilled you. You're kind of opening up, but reluctantly.
I'm trying to resonate.
And we've not gone. Elliot, what did you do? What did you do with your girlfriend? You don't have to say this. And you'll go,
like 2 cops.
She also fucked up a man. She also fucked up a man. I fucked up a girl. It's like we're not asking.
It was just messaging. Do you know what this is like? This is like. I feel like I'm on paedophile hunters and I've been caught. But it's just the 2 guys who happen to be in an Asda car park. Like they're just doing their weekly shop.
It's the job.
Mate, I'm just trying to get this dinner home.
Oh my God. By the way, do you edit this podcast?
Nah.
No, we don't.
Then can I make a statement about I used the word gay, and I am very scared about that.
No, it's fine.
I meant it ironically. I meant it.
Can we?
I meant it in the sense that, and I didn't actually use that word as a kid, because all my mum's friends were gay, and I knew that it was offensive. But the other kid, I'm having to do a disclaimer.
The word
I
gay
get
is not
absolutely
offensive.
petrified that if someone clips that out, and then I get eaten alive. So I can't.
People know you're joking. And by the way, if they're going to go through and clip bits of this podcast,
Oh my gosh.
oh boy, sign up to our Patreon for the real stuff.
Okay.
Where we do not edit names.
Right. Okay.
Bit too flippant now.
Yeah, there has been times I know we've walked away from here and we once had to go like, we have to stop acting like that £3.50 is some some CIA paywall no one can
Yes.
hack.
Yeah.
Where we just throw out names of producers.
Oh, television producers.
Hey,
He does.
you have as well.
I say it like just repeating the name back, like, oh, you said the name. Oh, you really said that name. Okay.
You speed through it. Yeah, I think it's a different
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only time you enunciate clearly is when you're talking about television producers.
Oh yeah.
Benjamin and Simon.
Who's?
They're just all called Benjamin and Simon.
Oh right.
Just what I've noticed.
No. I'll tell you who it is off pod. And but as we were talking about, it was the embarrassment, and also I felt like a level of just like, oh, what the fuck have I done?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
of
when you
And
just
did
sort of
you
go,
forgive yourself?
yeah, because I was back then. I wasn't good at being in a relationship. With the way we went into the relationship, we were just being silly and stuff. And now, whereas I put the actual work
Not
in,
a silly relationship.
now is where I put
Comes to life.
now is where I put the work into it, and I'm very happy where I am and stuff. It makes it a lot. It's like, oh right, this requires work. Because it was my first ever relationship. I was going into it with the naivety of, oh, it just flows, and it ebbs and it flows, and it's this because you don't actually. And I was 23.
You do things so young. When does as somebody who's not really relationship first, when does it become work?
A relationship.
Yeah. When is it?
From the second they start asking, what are we?
But that's
Sorry,
pre-relationship. That's pre-relationship, surely, because what are
Yes.
we?
Yeah.
Be in the relationship.
When does it become work?
When does it stop being like, oh, we're chasing ducks?
You have to do stuff you don't want to do, like going for walks.
I'm very fortunate. Me and my.
You enjoy
partner,
walking.
We that's our thing. Actually.
Where do you live?
Really?
Where do you like to walk?
Hammersmith, and we like to walk Hyde Park. We like to walk Notting Hill,
You have a little dog, don't you, as well?
and we have a little dog.
That helps for the
Mildred
walks.
Barrett.
Yeah.
That helps with the walk.
Because they got their little legs, and you know what I mean. Dogs are good for that, for the walks.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you for explaining what a dog is.
It does mean that I have to pick up shit on a walk, which is quite unfortunate.
I don't mind. I don't mind going for walks.
Um,
What is work?
But I mean, you have to start doing things you don't necessarily want to do because it brings happiness to your partner.
and also do things that you would like, that you have to resist temptation.
Yes.
Because you don't want to hurt people
Right.
Yeah.
or make them upset.
But that comes easier as you sort of.
But
go
the
on
thing
with it.
is, the happier you are in the relationship, yes, everything is work in life to feel good, etc. You have to put. Maybe it's a thing of getting older. You get older, and you have to put effort into being. For me, have to put the work in to not be unhappy.
Right.
So that can be content. That can be indeed happy.
Yeah.
But if you just, like you say, go with the flow, for me, that's unhappiness.
Right.
I have to
Take control.
I have to exercise, take control, put love and passion into the work I do, and all of this nonsense to not be unhappy.
I hear that.
And with a relationship, I'm very fortunate because I love going home, and I used to hate going home. Going home was I just wanted to stay out, get shit-faced. Home was this unhappy place for me, and now my home is somewhere. All I want to do is go home. I think. Now, I'm 36, so I'm sure this will, as with all of these things, when you record them and you put them out, this will one day come back to haunt me. Of course it will. But
That'll be the gay bit.
Currently, yes.
That'll be the bit.
Yeah. But today, I think that I found this nice space, which is the thing I want in the most in life is to go home.
Yeah.
And secondly, is to have a great gig.
Yeah.
That is a good place to be in life.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice, and that's where I am. So I love doing the comedy, love, coming up with funny things, love writing scripts, all the stuff. But all I ever really want to do is go home. That's so lovely. And people can't believe it when I'm going, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And it's not because I hate my job. It's because I love my home.
Yeah,
I love that.
I used to not like going home, but then I bought a new mattress. I was like,
Where from?
Emma mattress. You know Emma.
Is that advertised on TV?
Sometimes, yeah. I got money.
Why is it so good? Firm or
It's
soft?
kind of firm. And
What a brag. I got money. I got a mattress.
But that's what the Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like one of the base level things. It's the first.
No, but my
shelter.
mattresses of TVs are not going to Dave's beds around the corner. I'm going to like buying mattresses of television.
That's very good.
You know what I mean?
There you go. There's something you could aspire to.
And
Get
then-
that Patreon money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, I like this mattress. I want to go home to this mattress.
Yeah,
But
That's
you're probably
nice.
going home to family and love.
Yeah.
But for me, mattress.
Yeah.
I now don't want to go out and get shit faced after a gig, but what I do want to do is go out and get dinner with people, which is a cool place to be.
That's very nice.
I find it weird when you say that.
I like going out and getting dinners. Like, no, instead of having a few
Why do you
beers.
find it weird when he says
It's just
that?
like, Michael, let's go get dinner. I'm like, that's weird. I want to get dinner. Let's go out to eat. I don't want to get dinner. So
Do you get shit faced?
I don't get shit.
No,
No, that's the
I
thing.
do.
Yeah, I know you do. That's what I did.
But I'm in a really good place with drinking where I haven't done drugs in ages. So I'm now in that cool place where it used to be I'd go out and get drunk and then want to go and do other things. And now I'm just like, I'll stay out and drink and be quite happy drinking and then go home. And that's a good place to be. Or I want to go and get, right, we're doing Top Secret. Should we go to Chinatown and get some Chinese food or something and have a few beers and just chat shit? That's why I like New York.
If he said that, it'd be good. It's when he says dinner.
Yeah,
Let's go for supper, Michael.
Yes.
What's wrong with saying dinner?
It's just too formal for me.
I know what you mean. What about food?
Yeah.
Say food. I think
eat.
you
Right,
should.
let's go get food.
Yeah, I think you should change.
Oh, let's go over dinner. It sounds too like final.
Yes. It sounds like there's napkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there is. We go to
But
different
if you
places
say-
in Chinatown.
Yeah.
I like what you said about having to do the work to almost just stay at a base level.
Totally. I really think that might just be me, but if I don't do the work, that I don't even reach base level.
Because people sound very laid back and chilled out, but I put in work to do that. You know,
What's the work?
I meditate
you?
daily. You know, do
How long for?
20 minutes,
Okay.
2 times a day. Most days trying. I keep a journal. Trying to be aware of my.
Oh, that thing will read like the necromancer. You read out a page of that and you're going to summon Cthulhu.
There's some dark thoughts in there, but I keep them.
Are you a dark man?
Whoa.
Oh no!
That's gonna be the-
I'm cancelled again!
Oh, no. It's a
done it
spicy
again.
episode, everyone.
we are all. I'm gonna help you by moving. I'm gonna help.
Thank you.
We are all capable of dark thoughts, and I think it's okay to entertain them. Just don't dwell in them. I think some people, they love to live in the darkness. They love to live in that. I don't know how depression works, but I think some people, they kind of. It's almost like a blanket of darkness.
Carl Jung, was it Carl Jung? Yeah, Carl Jung, who was
That's so
a
horny.
student of was a student of Freud, who was like, you need to embrace yin and yang. Basically, you need to embrace
Ying.
yin. Sorry,
Ying.
yin. You need to
Yin and
embrace.
yang. Yin and
You
yang.
need to embrace the darkness that is within you. You need to understand that it's there to be a complete human being, because there is no human being who isn't. Everyone is capable of acts of evil. Everyone is capable of bad things, and that's actually part of the human experience. You are not truly human if you've never done anything bad and not experienced guilt or remorse or know that you're capable of these things. So that is part of it, and that is part of being human.
I think there's a certain level of, you need to know what your dark.
I mean, not like if you've ran over a kid and you never tell anyone about it in a drunk drive. That's probably...
Again, if you forgive yourself by the time you get to your driveway, it's all good.
Do you reckon you can forgive yourself?
If I hit a kid,
Yeah.
Hang on, in a car.
Yeah.
Right,
not like that's
Well, I've done that.
more forgivable.
Stop the car. Round down the window.
You know,
Drove off.
that's I'd forgive you for that, because that's so funny.
he's just laughing.
That's like a drive-by happy slap.
That's really funny. I do that. Yeah, I forgive myself for that. What was I saying? You need to know what your dark side is, so you know how to not go there. You need to know what you are at your worst. Maybe you don't need to know it by doing it, but you need to know what your triggers are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
It gives you something to. Sorry,
No, go
to
for it.
interrupt, but I think it gives you something to. If you know your dark side, you know what to. what you're trying to get away from. I think that could be quite handy.
But is it always running away from yourself?
Well, I might be talking about. So I think in my head there, I was thinking about addiction.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That if you've got quite an addictive personality, and that's what kind of, let's put that in the dark side of yourself, then you know what you're then trying to get away from to get to a better place.
But could you argue addiction? Because we're like quite...
Let's not argue.
No. Like I said, could you argue about like because we're quite similar in a way of that. Like I go through a stage where I like going out drinking stuff, but because I've had a surgery, I've not been able to train. Because I've not been able to train, I literally eat what I want and drink what I want, and I've not been able to live my life in the way that I usually live it with going to the gym and training, and then I'm in my routine where I do that, and then writing and editing videos. I then go in structure.
Yeah.
Without
it's
that,
fundamental.
but
fundamental.
the part of me that is slightly addictive allows me to then do comedy and write comedy and gig loads and then edit and stuff like that. But then when that structure's not there, that does mean I just want to drink beer all day. And not even just that, eat hobnobs and things, sit there playing the PlayStation.
Yes.
So you're saying your lack of ability to train has made you more, it's made you fall off a bit in terms of all areas of your life.
Yes, but I've just embraced it. I've gone, this is a fun period where you kind of get to do what you want. As long as you still do your work, you're fine. And then as of next week, I'll be back training and that stops, but I get to have that. But I don't know anyone who doesn't train and I compete at, let me say, an incredibly low level. But the fighters I know who are pro, like every single one of them has like some sort of form of that you classify as an eating disorder or body dysmorphia or something, because their bodies they're constantly changing their physiology essentially through starving themselves. Then the fight is done, then they get to go and eat what they want and drink what they want, and then they've got to go back to training. And the consistency, it's like if you're doing Edinburgh, like you imagine you're coming up to Edinburgh and you're gigging, and then you end Edinburgh and you go away and you might not gig for a little bit or something, or you might not gig as frequently as you were, and you don't do the writing, and then suddenly you get to October and you're like, I haven't written anything. Because I feel, do you know what I mean?
But October's not that bad.
Well, hang on. I've allowed myself to not write
Great.
anything after Edinburgh.
You're quite studious.
I put a lot of intensity into the run up to Edinburgh, but I thought it was so much hard work that I've just got to rest, got to not be a comedian for a bit.
But you actually work. You actually do the job of a comedian outside of being on stage. You like make time to work. And
yes, I try. Do you? I think you do as well, don't you?
To an extent, but not. I don't think because I say that it's me being in my level and you doing. I'm always impressed by people who are like at a certain point and they're still putting in work, and it's like, oh shit, they're there because they've put in that work.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I always say at that level, like with that Bill Burr special, that last Bill Burr special was so good. I don't think people realise how hard it is for him to just be good. Is as much work as it is for someone else to put out an incredible special because he's been at the top for so long.
Yeah.
So for him to go away every week and work, that isn't just. That's why it's so impressive.
Yeah. I loved that.
It's so good.
I loved it.
It's like when you're looking at like American football, like Tom Brady. Oh my gosh, he's 44 and he's still training hard. It's like, yeah, that's why he's still here at 44.
When I was in my 20s and when I started stand up, I was good for an open spot. So, I was in the finals. I won a couple of the newcomer things.
It's the worst thing that can happen to you, I think.
yeah, quite. And then, I'd wanted to be a stand-up since I was like 10. So, but what happened was, and it's took me far too long to realise, is the kind of, what would you call them? Middle class comedians, the comedians that seemed like they had more structure to their life. They were the ones that were sitting in the green room with their notepads out, and now they're all millionaires.
Yeah,
and if I thought, well, I'm funnier than them.
Yeah.
So but I wasn't putting. I was too busy enjoying what comedy brought me, as opposed to enjoying the comedy itself, where they didn't quite have the kind of, the way I look at it, they didn't quite have the success that I had in my early 20s. So they were still grafting. And and now look, and they've all put the work in, and they're millionaires.
But
It's crazy.
there would be in my opinion, you'd be a sanitized version of what you are now. Is the reason you're good is because you go on and you're very good and you're very like, hey, here's my life and what this is. Whereas if you were doing that back then, you probably wouldn't be at that level.
I couldn't have done that back then. I just couldn't.
exactly.
This is the thing. You are who you are. I didn't. I was. That was always going to happen if you were going to give me that amount of money and exposure and stuff in my early 20s. I didn't have that support network. That I was going to go fucking mental, and I did. And I think that after Strictly, you talk about the maybe. After Strictly, it was that shock. I nearly lost. I was one phone call away from losing my flat in Hammersmith that I had built. My whole, everything that I had done had got me that flat. My agent was like, just make sure that's your bricks and mortar. Get that flat. And one phone call away from losing that. And that was the shock to the system, which is I could lose everything. I've got to put in the work that the middle class guys did.
Yeah.
To kind of try and catch up with them.
Yeah.
Because they've got that structure in place that you get from an education, that you get from money. And I've got to try and kind of replicate that to try and catch up with them because they're...
Why are you doing comedy? You want to go to some of them? Like, what are you doing? Don't do this. Is for messes.
Well, it's not. It's not though, is it? I know you're joking. I know you're joking, but it's it's for misfits, absolutely. But you don't just have to be a wild child to be a comic, that, and that's certainly shown in this century. It's full of
There's lots of savvy people out there.
Bo Burnham
very
doesn't
savvy
drink
people.
at all. Like he's never had an alcohol problem. Bo Burnham.
There you go.
He just doesn't drink, and you go, oh, your cigarettes and your drinking is sitting there and getting that song perfect. I think that's what it is. That's your.
I'm sure these people. I'm sure they have their demons. They must do, but.
There's definitely a culture of associating creativity with struggle and associating it with being like the tortured genius. Be like a mess and have things going on to create great work.
I've really bought into that.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
You can just be like, all right, I'm gonna wake up. It's 10 a.m.
Totally. I'm gonna write a joke. Yeah, I know. That's what they're all doing. They're like, I'm gonna write a joke, and then their notepads out in the green room, and I'm like, no, I've got to get fucked. I've got to show that I'm in pain.
Yeah.
Comedy is from the pain. Yeah, totally.
I used to swear to myself when I was like 19, 20. I just started doing the glees and stuff. You're at your funniest after 1.5 beers, so go on. After one, and all that was me making an excuse to have beers.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
That was all it was. And now I kind of like, if I want a beer, I'll have a bit. Like I'm gonna go out and do my set. But I find it is insane. I know it sounds weird. When you do put the work into something, not just comedy or anything, you start to see a difference, and you go,
of course.
Oh, is this what I'm meant to be doing?
I know.
And I learned that, well, not through comedy, but through martial arts. Like that was the thing that I learned that from, was when I started getting, my first promotion in Muay Thai and things like that, and my first Muay Thai fight where I got absolutely battered, and then I started doing a bit better. Yeah, it was a bit.
Do you do any violence?
Do any of that stuff. I used to box, but just so I could learn the basics.
Did you get punched in the face?
I did, and that's when I stopped. What's going on here?
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's when I would have stopped. But you got punched in the face and you went, yeah, I'm going to do this.
I didn't like it, but I guess the reason I do it is because this is going to sound very, very, very indulgent and wanky.
I think that's what this podcast is. Yes. By my
BTEC philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about self-actualization. The closest I've ever come to self-actualization is through fighting on the mats and stuff like that, because you are met truly with an idea of where you're tired and you want to quit, but you sort of, and sometimes you do, and sometimes you push on and you surprise yourself.
Quit? Do you tap out like in wrestling?
Fuck yeah.
You tap?
Oh god, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. When someone gets you in a chokehold or something. But like I
wish you could do that during tough gigs.
Yeah.
You can.
Just tap out. I can't do it. I'm leaving.
I walked off after 7 minutes at Southend Cliff Pavilion once. I was booked for 30. I did 7.
You walked off.
Just went
that's pathetic.
I said to him, I'm not doing this.
How old are you?
I was 18 or 19.
Oh my gosh, this is pre-Netflix and still.
I knew I had something big around the corner.
You have to maybe.
Oh my God. Have you walked off?
Never walked off.
You've never walked off?
You've never gone on to... No.
I have walked off. I have. Well, I had to walk off at the Cambridge Junction because there is a Cambridge firm. Did you know this?
What?
There is a Cambridge Football Club have a firm, whatever they are. Cambridge United had a firm, and I offended what seemed to be the leader of the firm, and he said that he was going to get me after the gig, and he was not joking.
Oh, fuck, really?
And I had to be taken out. I walked off and had to be taken out the fire exit and
round the corner to the station.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I bet that was a long wait at that train station.
Yes, very. I was absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
You've had that.
I had that at Chichester. Yeah. I was scared then.
What, the Chichester firm?
The Chichester Uni. I did a gig where they spat at me and started throwing drinks.
What did you do?
I was talking some shit.
What was the shit?
Joe Wells had gone on and done a routine. Basically, the gig was unplayable. It was just after lockdown. They're students. They're all 18.
Oh, God.
They've been locked up.
That's what we're doing tonight.
That's what we're doing tonight. But they're not being. They've not been locked up. And this was like table of 6. It wasn't being adhered to. And they were all allowed to drink. And they've been drinking since 11, which means they've been drinking since 8 because they're pre-gaming. They're students, right, from 8 a.m. I go on. The gig's at 7. I'm closing. Joe Wells goes on. Mike Cox is on. Mike Cox goes on. Riles them up. Joe Wells goes on, and they're not being arseholes to Joe, but they're not entertaining him. And he did a routine about being autistic. I go on later, and I said to him, like, look, here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to do 10 minutes, and I'm going to go, and a DJ in the band can come on. You don't want me here. I completely understand that. I wouldn't want me here either in your position, but I've been told I've got to go on and do some time, right? So I go on. They're not. One of them's like shouting at, just immediately like, fuck off, fuck off. They're just being horrible. And then so I went, at least Joe's got his autism to blame for his breakdown later. I've just got to accept it was this gig. And Joe started laughing, but they don't know me and Joe are friends. So they're like all these sort of woke, drunk students who then start going like, you shouldn't be saying that about autistic people.
Oh, God.
You know me. You see what? I wasn't going to apologise. No. So I then doubled down.
Yes, that is what you do, isn't it?
Quite hard.
Love it downing twice.
You self-sabotaged the gig
I
going on by saying you're not going to like me.
No. I didn't say you're not going to like me. I through my years of experience of doing stand-up, what I would do now, post Netflix and still, that's part of the experience. If I was to do something like that again now, I would go to the promoter. I'm not going on. You can have the argument with my agent about money. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Okay.
I'm not putting myself through this for financial gain. Like, this is sad.
I ran away from a corporate.
Did you? Good.
I ran away. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't too.
What was the situation?
I walked in, and it was the Camden Roundhouse, and I thought it was a normal charity gig, but actually the gig had been closed off and was a massive corporate.
Oh. Were you being paid well?
No, I wasn't being paid for what was a corporate, and I have a very strong hunch that Ed Gamble was being paid.
Oh, okay.
And he was on last, and I just looked, and it was tuxedos, round tables. They'd been drinking for over 4 hours.
Okay.
And I just thought, also the Strictly Come Dancing band were on. And I just thought, I can't die in front of the Strictly Come Dancing band. The last time they saw me, I was...
Is this post Strictly?
Yeah. This is like a couple... This is July or June. This is June.
Fucking hell.
And I just thought, I can't die in front of the Strictly Come Dancing band.
How did you end up at that gig?
I think me and my agent thought it was a normal charity gig. I don't think we realised it was a corporate event.
I'm going to underpay you?
And I said, I think it's better. This is what happened. As I said, look, I've got a suggestion. You say we're running behind. How about, look, don't worry about me. Just bring Ed on. They'll love Ed. Everyone loves Ed. That'll be great. And she went, no. They would love to see you. And I was like, I really don't think they will. And she went, oh, well, why'd you say that? You're great. And I just thought, she's not going to understand. Actually, this is what she said. She went, there's a microphone. They're there. And I was like, no, you can't explain to someone that's not how stand-up works. So what I realised is there was going to be no talking her down. So I said, can I just use the toilet first? And she went, sure. And I grabbed my bag and I ran out the fire exit.
I love that.
And I said bye to Ed.
Did you?
And he laughed very much, and I left.
Yeah,
respect that.
so you should. Like, I think you've made the correct decision.
Totally.
I respect you 100%.
It's humiliating.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've got this. I've got the sabotage thing where I'll go on there, and I've been working on not doing this now, but it's a self-preservation thing, and it's not a good thing to do. And it's a thing early on in your career, I think you can do, because you could be like, yeah, well, I'm alive while I'll save anything. Where it's not. It's pathetic. Is that you'll go, I'm having a bad time, so now we're all going to have a bad time.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
We're all going down in flames here.
I imagine you don't have this.
No, in terms of, do you think that's a bad thing?
I
I think it's a terrible thing.
It's when it works.
I think it's not good.
And I tell you, the only time I've ever seen it work, Bill Burr. He did it at that Opie and Anthony gig in Philadelphia, and that's the one time it's worked, and everyone knows about it. No. It's just a clip of it. It's called the Philadelphia incident, and it works because he's being booed by 13,000 people, and goes through and tells them why they should all fucking die, and he's saying the worst things you can say, and they respect.
But it's really
it.
creative.
It's
really.
They start
off the top of his head.
Yeah. They go from booing him to standing ovation.
Okay.
That clip,
God, he's good, isn't he?
yeah, that clip has, as good as it is for him, has done more damage to comedians because you think you're not gonna. But I'm not saying I'm doing it because of that. I do it out of a self-preservation.
Yeah.
Of then I've got a reason for why I didn't do well. Not my jokes didn't go well. Or I didn't perform them.
Yeah, well, I wish I just end up 5 minutes. I just end up tanking gigs. I never really have a sense of I'm gonna fight you guys.
You did a gig, and this is going to bring us to our end of the podcast, our philosopher of the week.
That you knew was coming.
I knew it was coming.
Oh,
You knew
wow.
this was where we were going.
You really did have
So
I didn't
impressive.
have a plan.
We have a section on this podcast called Philosopher of the Week.
Oh, right.
A BTEC philosopher.
Yes.
Someone who sounds like they're saying something profound saying something that they think is philosophical, with people who've past been on it as Diego Simeone, Andrew Tate wannabes. But this
You don't know who that is.
Last week.
I actually do.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because I follow him on Instagram. That is the only reason that I know who Andrew Tate is.
Oh, really?
It's because I follow you.
Because of that clip.
And you talked about him.
Yeah,
That's it.
And that clip where all his fans started thinking I was fans of him.
And then I Googled who he was because of that.
Yeah.
Well,
There you go.
Now you got that in your algorithm.
yeah.
so Mike, you did a gig in Manchester last week.
A couple of weeks ago, I did a Manchester gig, and I got a message from the promoter about a complaint that they had. So it was for me, 3 people in the bill. It was me, Russell Hicks, and Fumbi Mateo. I went first. Fumbi went last. This was the complaint. It told us we was in for a spectacular night of comedy. Didn't spell comedy wrong.
This is their way of spelling. This isn't Mike.
DJ and singers. It was 2 comedians with 1 comedian playing 2 different sets. There was the host and then 2 comedians playing the whole show. It was said it would be 8 p.m. until 10:30. It was a shambles of comedy. When times are tough and we are spending money for a night out, having 2 acts with 1 act playing 2 different sets.
Please can people Google Fumbi Mateo right now just to see
if we can get Fumbi Mateo. If we get Fumbi on the screen, that would be good.
Is that the whole thing? Was that
that's pretty much the whole message. So
that's our philosopher of the week, everyone.
That's our philosopher. Somebody wanted a refund because they thought I did the same set. But there are 2 different sets.
But did they think you were funny?
Yeah, well, they didn't mention that. They were more upset.
But they preferred his second set.
I loved it when he changed his shirt and did that other stuff.
And he got braids, so he got dreadlocks.
But that's what I love about that.
Oh, my God.
What I love about that is what I was saying to you when you said it. I was like, I think they're so stupid it can't be racism. Because like, they would have sat there. You know how stupid people think they're clever? They'd have sat there and been like to their mates, Tyler, trying to pull the wool over our eyes here. They've just made him change shoes. Like, wow.
Oh, my God.
I would have been quite impressed if, like, a comedian changed their outfit. New voice, new set, just new stories. I would have been like, yeah, fair play.
There's someone that does that.
So this is a picture of
Oh, my God.
me.
When are they going to get Fumbi up? Oh my God!
That's the philosopher of the week, man. I mean, because like, listen, I love the North, But they're not beating the allegations that they are a little bit behind us in certain respects.
That's so bad. That's so. But just to write that on a comedy club website, as if,
And like, yeah, you think it's all right, babe? Press send. Boom. That's crazy, man.
well, when you look at the spelling, you go,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that
They must have been really. It was a crazy gig. It must have been.
Do you wear
really
glasses?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
I think you should. He's got his font on the large size.
But just let Mike live his life the way. There's just things
I
he
keep
does.
my font on maximum and bold.
Yeah, why?
Because, like, why would I make my eyes work harder than they need to?
But they shouldn't have
They
to
shouldn't
be.
have to. It's bad for you.
No, but if the thing is big, my eyes have to do and
Your eyes do zoom.
That's fair. That's actually a fair point.
No, it isn't.
it's
not
like
think?
No.
It's like when you're reading a children's book.
When are you reading a children's book?
Why? Do you,
Why are you reading a children's book? No wonder you like the big size.
do you want like little animals to pop out of your phone as well? Like,
Again, great. They should bring that back for all books. What's
up.
wrong with having
Pop adult books.
pop up.
why keep your font on the smallest? What's the benefit of that?
Because then you can fit more information on it and read quicker.
Okay, so we both have reasons for this. All right. Well, this has been.
I don't know how this has been in comparison to the other guest ones. What is this? Has this been?
What a way to announce you don't listen.
No, I've heard it when it's just you two.
Yeah, no.
But is it when we meant to be?
Well,
How much
brilliant.
was meant to be philosophy
No.
and how much was meant to
we
be
just vibe.
This is
we vibe?
People love this. They
I'm
love our
vibing,
laid
baby.
back. They love our laid back stuff, and we have elements of philosophy. And well, we always say, what is philosophy? You know, it's just talking shit.
It's trying to work out all this.
No, there is an actual definition of philosophy.
Oh well, we don't need that. That'll ruin the podcast. You know.
We did manage to cover a lot of elements. I guess.
It's in there. It's in the subtext.
There was
Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We had that
Chinese
philosopher of the week.
That was
you know.
racism.
It's racism's a philosophy,
Okay,
I guess.
No.
It's the philosophy of being racist.
this is true of mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know.
Maybe.
You just threw me off with calling me blind.
Sean, have you got you've got your special kiss
It's got Kiss on YouTube.
and you're recording at the Angel Comedy Club.
On the 9th, I think there are still tickets for the late show. Come along. That would be lovely to see you there. And, of course, got my own podcast, but it's only 15 minutes called
Very
What's
good.
Upsetting You
Very
Now.
good podcast. We are.
Which you've not done yet. Have you done?
Do you have guests
Oh.
on there?
You know that? Yeah.
Okay.
Both come along.
Yeah, I'd love to. We've got Ireland.
Travel in to do a 15-minute podcast.
You don't travel.
You don't travel?
Do it on Zoom.
Okay, cool.
What, you moan at me every week for doing admin on the podcast, and here you are.
Sorry.
no, you're fine. Every week. I'm going to be at Lavery's on the 19th and 20th, Northern Ireland. I know there's some Northern Irish fans of this podcast, so come over.
That's amazing.
I can't wait to do it because I'm not doing the fucking Empire again, that's for sure.
Why? What's wrong with the Empire?
That gig can fuck off.
Oh, dear. Can I just say, sorry, I'm trying to kickstart my fucking TikTok, which I'm not happy about. But if you are on TikTok,
Follow
please
Sean.
go on my
It'll be
stupid
classic
bloody
stand-up bits.
fucking TikTok.
Go on, Sean, stupid
Where-
bloody fucking
where I'm
TikTok.
posting clips of my stand-up from when I was on telly. They're very old.
Mike, you got anything to plug?
You should do commentary of like dances.
Fuck that.
We are wrapping up the podcast.
Yes, goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, man. It's been BTEC Philosophers. I got nothing to promote. See you next week.
Much love, people. See you next week.
Great.
Dude, that was really good.
I really enjoyed that.
Why are you not driving to Newport?
To do a gig.
Why are you not driving? You got a car now.
No.